Hey, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are well. I hope you've had a great productive start to 2019. I've gone back to work this week, so life's gone a bit crazy again, but it's all good, and I like to keep busy, so that's fun. Today I'm going to be talking to you about anxiety and giving you some tips on how to help if you have anxiety or you are a bit of a worrier. Again, these are just tips that I've used myself and things that I do myself. So they might not work for you, but I just thought I'd pass on my advice. I have suffered anxiety since I was in year 6. It started when I did my SATs. It was around the time that my parents were separating. So that for me was when I started to sort of suffer anxiety, and I used to become anxious over things. Especially when I went to secondary school, everything just got worse. So along the way, these are the things that I've been using to help me. So tip number 1 is to breathe. That sounds really stupid when you say it like that, but breathing has really helped me if I'm having anxiety or an anxiety attack. When I spoke to a doctor, which I'll talk about later on, they said that when you are anxious or having an anxiety attack, your heart rate and your breathing can increase. So it is about, for me, when I'm anxious, it's about bringing that down before I can become calm again. So the breathing technique that I use is to breathe in for 1, hold for 2, and then let out for 3. And I would just keep repeating that until I felt calm or I felt a bit more in control. Because I think that is it actually. It's when you are having that anxiety attack, or you're anxious, you do just feel completely out of control of things, and you can't concentrate on anything. So breathing and controlling your breathing will massively help you gain a sense of control in that moment, in that time. And it also the actual counting can distract you, which again is another tip I will go on to talk about, but it is good. And also it's good to just repeat it as well, so don't just do it once, just keep doing it until you do feel yourself calming back down again. So breathing. Tip number 2 is to get outside and exercise. So again, getting outside, getting your air into your lungs. I don't think we use nature enough. We're so lucky to live in the country that we live in. There's some beautiful outdoor spaces, and I think we need to use it to help our well-being. So getting outside, getting close with nature, being free, having that sense of freedom, and then also doing exercise alongside that. So I've always found if I'm anxious or I'm worrying about something, just doing some form of exercise majorly helps. It's all the endorphins, isn't it? So I might say, oh Neil, I'm just going to go for a run because I need to just get out and have a calm down. And it's weird when you say that, because actually you think exercising can calm you down because you're obviously getting your heart rate up and everything, but it's pumping those endorphins around your body, it's chilling you out and taking your mind off things and making you feel a bit better. So for me personally, sometimes I like to just go outside, go for a walk, go for a run, and just get those endorphins pumping. That's what I would say, yeah. Tip number 3 is to distract the mind. The mind is very powerful. You can overthink, it can make you think things that aren't even there. So if you're worrying about something, you feel like an anxiety attack is coming along, just distract the mind. So personally for me, I would put something trashy on TV. I say trashy, well, I don't personally think it's trashy, but some people do. Keeping Up with the Kardashians, something like that. Going and reading a book, listening to a podcast, lots of different things that you can do. Also ringing a friend, so you could also ring a friend and have a chat with them about things, that kind of thing. Tip number 4 is to talk to someone. And I think that could be quite hard for some people. For me, I always found that I was able to talk to people about my anxiety, and I was able to sort of talk through my emotions and how I was feeling, and I've never felt embarrassed, but I know that some people do and they find it hard. But I do think talking to someone for me really helped. When I was in college, I went to my doctors and I was referred to an eye talk, and they talk through different ways of coping. So it's sort of a form of CBT. But you don't even have to go that far. You could talk to a family member, a friend. I know in my work there is a sort of helpline you can call. So it might be in your work, there's someone you can talk to, or if you're at college or school, there'll definitely be someone that you can talk to there, in sort of pastoral care kind of thing. So yeah, I found talking really helped, because you're kind of getting it off your chest. You know, this like saying getting off your chest, but you're getting it off, you're releasing some of the things that you're sort of holding in. So yeah, I did feel that talking to someone really helped me. Tip number 5 is to write your worries down. Now, when I first got told about this, I was a bit like, writing your worries down? Like, how is that going to help? But I was sort of talked through how to do it. So writing your worries down. So say you had a worry, for example, like, let me think. You are worried that you're going to fail an exam. You would write it down, and you think, right, what steps can I take? Or what can I do to help that worry? So set up a revision schedule, or team up with a friend, or talk to a teacher, that kind of thing. And you can say, right, this is my worry, these are what I'm going to do to help that worry, and kind of leave it there and think that's all I can do. And then you might have a worry, like you're worried that, a bit extreme, but you're worried that, for example, for me, sometimes I really worry about one of my family members dying. And that's one of those worries where there's nothing you can do, it's not in your control, and it's one of those worries you just have to write it down and put it to a side. And it's weird because you think writing it down in black and white, how's that going to change things? But again, it's a bit like when you talk to someone, you're releasing it, you're getting off your chest, and you're, you know, putting it in that box and saying, you know, I will come back to it, but it's just going to stay there. And it's the same for example, the worrying about an exam. You know, you're dealing with it, and you're putting those things in place to help overcome it. So worrying, writing your worries down really was a good piece of advice that I was given, and it did really help me at the time. So yeah, those were my tips on how to overcome, well, I say not overcome, but help with anxiety or worries, or if you're about to have an anxiety attack. Those are the things that I've used to help me. I hope it's been helpful to you and you can get something from it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you've had a lovely day, morning, evening, whenever you're watching, and I will see you again very soon. Thank you. Goodbye.